Ever since Ripple announced that they have private versions of the XRP ledger, a lot of people have been asking the question, well, what's going to bring people to the public ledger? This has been a hot topic of debate, especially around whether or not there were two versions of XRP, the XRP on the private chain versus XRP on the public chain. Well, in this video, we're going to jump into that, and I'm going to give you guys everything you need to know about these private chains. This is super important. I think when you fully wrap your head around this, you're going to fully understand just how bullish it is for your XRP. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to like these videos and subscribe to the channel. These two simple things really do help me out so much. Also, if you have a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange uphold down in the description of this video. With that said, let's jump right into it. I hope you guys enjoy the content. So I want to start this video off and address private ledgers or private XRP ledgers, because that's really the big topic of discussion when it comes to these blockchains. And the big reason why it's a big topic of discussion is because a lot of people often ask the question, if Ripple has these private XRP ledgers where big financial institutions can interact with each other anonymously, and if they're already working on these private ledgers, what's going to bring them to the public ledger? And if they're all interacting on this private ledger, right, how's that going to impact the price of the XRP that the entire public owns? And this is a very, very good question. And there's a lot to cover here, so make sure to stick around for the entire thing. I think what we're going to talk about on the end is going to be especially important to seeing the bigger picture. But to start off, it's really important to understand why there are even private versions of the XRP ledger. And the word versions is key here because there's not multiple XRP ledgers, right? There's only one XRP ledger, and that's the public ledger that everyone interacts with and we all know about. But there are other chains that are the same code base as the XRP ledger that have different configurations for various reasons. And I want to talk about one of those reasons real quick just to make it obvious for you guys. If the entire world moves towards DLT and blockchain technology, if everything operates on this new accounting system to track money all around the world, well, you're not going to want everything to be on a public chain, right? I have my own personal bank account. I personally like that people don't know how much money is in my bank account. And if everything in finance in the future was done on a public chain, well, then suddenly you'd be in a position where anyone in the world could just look into your wallet and see how much money you have. Look at all the things you're buying, what you're selling. These are things that most people don't actually want, right? We want fast, efficient transactions, but we don't want everyone to just look into our bank account. And it's important to realize that large financial institutions are going to run into this same exact thing, right? If you're a large financial institution or even a small one, you don't want all your competitors to be able to look directly into your treasury, look directly into your books, look at every single thing you're doing. These kinds of things really don't make sense. And it's important to realize that there's going to be multiple different applications to both private permission chains and public decentralized chains. In the same exact way you look at the internet today, right? We have our own personal camera roll, and the vast majority of us probably wouldn't want our camera roll broadcasted to the entire world. But there are certain things in our camera roll we do want broadcasted to the entire world, and that's why we put these things on social media. This is a great example of a private database versus a public database that we already have today. And what you'll probably realize is these things kind of work seamlessly together. The more you use your private camera roll, the more you probably want to share certain things in that camera roll, and therefore the bigger the public networks get. And just as the public networks get bigger and there's more information being shared, there's probably more uses to actually store the personal information on your own private version of that database. So right here, we can see in Web 2.0, there are obvious applications having private systems and public systems. And the same exact thing is going to be true for the future of finance. You are going to have private versions of value transfer networks and public versions of value transfer networks. And what Ripple is doing is they are saying, hey, well, we have the public XRP ledger already. We already have this seamless, decentralized, neutral ledger where anyone can interact on freely. But what you might not have yet is a private permission ledger, right? We know you're not going to want to do everything on the public XRP ledger. The answers for that are obvious, right? No one wants to do everything on a public network. But in order to really interact with the public network, right? In order to really use the public network to its full capacity, you already have to have one step in the system. Imagine trying to upload a picture to Instagram or Facebook, but you don't have a camera roll. It's really inefficient at that point because it's like, what am I even posting at this point? Where are the pictures? Maybe I have this photograph in my room, but it's not already digital, so it's not on my phone, so I can't really post it to Facebook. Well, then it's pretty hard to get it to the public system where you're going to share the information. And the same exact thing is true for this new financial system that's being built right now. In order for financial institutions to get involved and start digitizing their value, well, they need a place to start. And a big place they're going to start is by internally tokenizing their own systems, by taking all the outdated analog assets they have right now and bringing them on chain. Now, that's probably not going to be directly onto public blockchains, right? They probably want to bring it on their own internal systems, their own internal centralized blockchains before they start interacting with the public chains. And this is a major reason I believe Ripple is actually building out these private chains. Most of these financial institutions are not going to want to go build this themselves. They're not experts on the XRP ledger. They're experts on their business. And to be honest, they're not even experts on the rails of which their business runs for the most part. They just utilize the rails that are there. What Ripple can do is come in with a holistic offering. They can come in with custody. They can come in with custom built chains. And then they can link all this to the public XRP ledger. It doesn't make sense to think that these financial institutions are just going to build all this out themselves. The reason why they have such inefficient systems right now is because they don't know how to build these things. So what Ripple needs to do is build them a holistic suite of products that allow them to go from the outdated analog system to the new decentralized digital system that is built on public blockchains. Private chains are a critical stepping point in order to get value from the outdated old system to the new financial system. And this is where Ripple is bringing that holistic product all together. It's also important to realize that no financial institution is going to essentially step into blockchain technology without thoroughly testing these products. And that's just another easy to understand application for these private chains. Now, with all that said, a lot of people ask the question, is there another XRP on these chains? Well, no, there's no other XRP on these chains because the only XRP that exists is on the public XRP ledger. The whole reason why you even need a neutral counterparty-less decentralized asset on the public chain is because it's a public neutral decentralized chain. There's no trust involved, and therefore you need an asset that represents liquidity that is completely counterparty-less, or else you're always interacting with a counterparty. That is the key most important thing about XRP. It's completely neutral and completely counterparty-less. On any private chain, on any centralized private chain, you are dealing with one person who controls the chain, and therefore one person that has the power to essentially do whatever they want to that native asset. So that asset on the private chain doesn't have any of the same properties that XRP has on the public chain. So the public XRP ledger pretty much cannot be replicated. You cannot go create a new ledger that is going to fit the same role as the public ledger fits today. Now, you can build more utility to the public ledger by offering these private sidechains that will allow more financial institutions to do the things they want on the private chain and better utilize the public chain, but just expecting them to use one thing or the other doesn't solve the entire problem. You're either back in a permissioned, centralized environment that these financial institutions are already operating in, or you're doing your entire business on the public XRP ledger. And as we talked about earlier, that doesn't make sense for so many reasons. So what Ripple is really doing here is offering a holistic product, allowing financial institutions to take a step into blockchain technology. And just like they've been doing over the past 10 years, they are going to continue to take those small steps. But what Ripple is doing is capturing their business throughout the transition phase. Not only will they be able to take over custody, they will be able to take over regulatory compliance. They will have their stablecoin. They will have institutional DeFi products. They will have their messaging centralized products. And all of these things will work together to push financial institutions to the public XRP ledger. If you're already using all this infrastructure built out by Ripple and all of these products linked to the public XRP ledger, that is a one and only kind of thing, like we talked about, you can't just replicate that, then the only choice for these financial institutions when it comes to sourcing this decentralized neutral liquidity will likely be the public XRP ledger you and I own. So it's really important to understand this. What Ripple is doing is building a funnel that allows financial institutions to go into the digital world without having to figure it out themselves. Most of these financial institutions, whether you're talking about Uber, whether you're talking about a big bank, it doesn't matter. They are focused on a different part of the business than what Ripple is trying to fix. Ripple is trying to fix the plumbing. And if these financial institutions can adopt Ripple's technology without understanding how to fix the plumbing themselves, then Ripple has achieved its goal. It ushered in these large financial institutions to the blockchain industry without them having to change their business, but are still getting the advantages of this new updated system. That is the holy grail for the public XRP ledger. And private ledgers are a critical stepping stone in getting to that end goal. Guys, I know there was a lot going on here, but I hope this really helps you understand the difference between a private chain and a public chain and why both are actually critical to each other's success. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. And for now, Mickle out.